Live. I'm Rich Lieberman. This is the Bay Area and National Media Pulse, and a subject matter that has become quite popular for all the wrong reasons. And I'm here once again to try to put some clarity into a situation that is all but clear. And I wish, folks, I wish that a lot of this mystery, a lot of this kind of vagueness in what is taking place and what has ensued, and what has become all too cumbersome would be a lot more clear. It's very simple. So, look, I this is a catch 22 personified. I can't win if I tried. I can't win if I try to not talk about this. If I don't talk about a certain subject, then I'm part of the problem. If I talk too much about a certain issue, then I'm part of the problem. If I just, pick my nose and talk about coffee at 7-Eleven, I'm part of the problem. There's always a problem and there's always me. And I don't like it. I really, really disdain it. I really can't stand it. You may think all this publicity and doing shows and doing that show and all that. Look, I am heartened, I am humbled that I have been asked to do various shows, including the Dave Neal show, who I think is a decent enough investigator. And he's quite popular and he's on the internet. So he asked me to do his show, and I've done his show. Because as I've stated here numerous times, I just want the truth, not your truth, not my truth, not anyone's truth, but the truth. And there's only one truth. There's no version or, that manner, this manner. It's only one thing. And we're not getting a lot of that now in regards to Laura Owens. But I'm not even here to talk about the criminal complaint lodged against one Laura Owens, the daughter of Ronn Owens and Jan Black, which will be litigated in January in a courthouse in Arizona. I'm not here to talk about that, not because I don't want to talk about it. It's not my gig, it's not my thing. I've read, not all, but I've read a lot of the documentation. I have looked at the people, the accusatory folks, the men, Laura Owens herself, all the characters. I have tried to be up to date and in on this. It's quite cumbersome. I use that word. It's very, very challenging. I've pretty much dealt on the media end. I became involved when it was somehow put out there that Ron was trying to buy me out, or Jan, that they bought my silence, which is the farthest from the truth. I've said that a million times. I've been in on this. I read the articles in the Chronicle and the Mercury News. I told you first publicly about the bankruptcy filing last week. And it's curious timing considering the GoFundMe page was set up not that long ago and has raised over $130,000. Where is the money going to? There hasn't been a lot of clarity. To use one of Ron's most favorite words, substance. There has been no substance on that. I think that deserves some clarity. And I've said as much. I'm not trying to pile on one way or the other on either Ron or Jan. I'll tell you who I'm going to pile on. I'm going to pile on the Bay Area press. Where are you? I keep saying this. It makes no sense that this story has received the little bitty coverage that it's received. Now, I don't get a dime if all of a sudden start covering it. I've laid out my issue here with regards to a story that has not been covered. Oh, now they're on the beat. Welcome to the show. Now they decided they're going to cover it. I would submit this. I have been very open about my legitimate public and private acknowledgement that this is a very, very tough set of circumstances for Ronn and Jan, their daughter, involved in this. And whether you like it or not, or I like it or not, or anybody, I want to make this clear. They are parents. I'm not a parent. Thank God in this instance, I don't know what I would do. I grant them that. But there are questions that need to be answered privately, publicly, whatever. I know publicly it's difficult at this time because of the ongoing legal situation and the fact that their daughter is under multiple indictments. And that has to be settled one way or another in the courthouse in Arizona, which I hope it will. But the ensuing bankruptcy filing, the mounds of debt that have happened since this being Laura Owens and her legal situation has taken place. And all the while, Jan and Ronn telling me that the money is not used for the legal developments, the legalness, the lawyers. And I said at first I believed them. Now I don't believe them. I don't know what to believe or who to believe for that matter. But I do know this. The public has a right to know. It's, for that matter, everyone has a right to know because it's taken on when it went to the GoFundMe dollars, that became public. And either through an off-the-record conversation or on the record, whatever, now suddenly Ronn and Jan are silent. At their convenience, when the truth mattered, when it was convenient for them to contact me and tell me various people were nebulous and not to believe them, and all they wanted to do was to make a buck. And I'm talking about the people like Dave Neal or like Lauren Knighty and all those. And I come to figure out that this case, yes, is quirky, it's irksome, it is very, very sad. As I have said, I can't imagine, I think, what is going through Ronn's mind and Jan's mind, and for that matter, Laura's mind. I don't know what to make. It is very dicey at best. And when Ronn contacted me, returned my queries, as did Jan, and now they've gone silent. Jan issued a very benign statement to the Mercury News on the article having to do with the Chapter 13 bankruptcy filing, which is fine. But we still have the GoFundMe. We have the public ask requests for money vis-a-vis Ronn on his YouTube, or excuse me, his Facebook account. And, I've had people come my way all over the country. I had one query from West Germany, for God's sakes. Rich, what's going on here? I don't know. And again, I say this, where is the Bay Area press? Fuck me, forget about me. And I know, people are going to give me shit because of my ego. Well, guess what? Since I've been kvetching and talking about this openly, even before the bankruptcy filing, I said to myself, you're giving Ronn basically professional courtesy is what you're doing. Ronn was very popular. I said so myself. Hell, I even said he was my mentor growing up. He was my cousin Brucey. If you don't know who cousin Brucey is, Google it. He was the king of media, to use a Howard Stern phrase. His agent, Ronn, was none other than a Howard Stern agent, Don Buchwald. And I also said many a times, Ronn is at a stage right now, doesn't sound really good, but at times sounds fluid, but still looks and sounds like the old Ronn Owens, not just from KGO, Bay Area media elite, Bay Area society royalty. Who said that? I did. And even I now have serious questions. Who is running Ronn? Is Ronn running Ronn? And Jan, Who is running Jan? Is Jan running Ronn? Which, by extension, who's running Laura? How can you definitively say none of the money is going to the lawyers? Then how do you pay for, at one time, I do believe, 7 or 8 lawyers? Lawyers do not like working for free all the time. They like to eat and breathe